Upbeat, intriguing intro music begins and fades slightly. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're journeying back in time to the heart of West Africa, to a land we now call Burkina Faso. We're going to explore a fascinating period, from the 1500s to the 1800s, when a new faith arrived on the winds of trade and conquest. This is the story of the arrival of Islam and its complex encounter with the powerful Mossi kingdoms. So, buckle up, because this is a tale of trade, tradition, and remarkable resilience. Slight shift in tone to be more narrative. Imagine the scene, sprawling savannas under a vast African sky. For centuries, this region was a nexus of ancient traditions, ruled by powerful kingdoms like the Mossi. Their society was built on a deep connection to the land, their ancestors, and a complex system of spiritual beliefs. But from the north, a change was coming. Across the Sahara, caravans of traders, primarily groups like the Dioula and Mandinka, began to establish routes that stretched deep into West Africa. They brought with them valuable goods, salt from the desert mines, shimmering gold from the south, and woven textiles. But they also carried something intangible, something that would reshape the spiritual landscape of the region, the teachings of Islam. Initially, the spread of Islam was a gradual process, flowing along these arteries of commerce. In trading towns and settlements along the northern fringes of the Mossi territories, communities began to emerge where Islam took root. These were often cosmopolitan centers where merchants from different backgrounds met, and the new faith offered a common cultural and legal framework that was incredibly useful for long-distance trade. For many in these peripheral areas, converting was not just a spiritual decision, but a practical one, connecting them to a vast and prosperous network that spanned from Timbuktu to North Africa. The religion spread not through a single forceful push, but through countless daily interactions, in the marketplaces, in shared meals, and through intermarriage. However, when this wave of Islamic influence reached the heartlands of the Mossi kingdoms, it met a very different reception. The Mossi had forged their states around the 15th century, creating a highly organized and centralized political structure. At the apex of this structure was the Mogo Naba, or King of the World, a ruler who was not just a political leader, but a divine figure, a living link between his people and the spirits of their ancestors. Mossi identity, power, and social order were inextricably linked to their traditional animist beliefs. To them, converting to Islam wasn't just a matter of changing one's personal faith. It was a direct challenge to the very foundation of their society, to the authority of their king, and to the ancestral pact that guaranteed the fertility of the land and the well-being of the people. Because of this, the Mossi rulers were deeply skeptical of this new religion. They saw it as a potential threat to their power and cultural integrity. Throughout this period, the Mossi kingdoms acted as a formidable bulwark against the expansion of Islamic empires from the north, like the Songhai Empire. There were raids, skirmishes, and even larger military campaigns, or jihads, launched against them. Yet the Mossi consistently and successfully resisted these incursions. Their strong military organization and the deep-seated loyalty of their people to the traditional power structure made them incredibly resilient. They weren't just defending their territory, they were defending their entire way of life. This isn't to say there was no interaction at all. In fact, it was much more nuanced. The Mossi kings were pragmatic rulers. They understood the economic benefits of trade with their Muslim neighbors, so a fascinating balance was struck. Muslim traders, known as Yarse, were often allowed to settle in designated quarters within Mossi towns. They were permitted to practice their faith freely and even build mosques. They served as crucial economic intermediaries, managing the trade that brought wealth and prestige to the Mossi courts. However, they were generally kept separate from the mainstream Mossi population, and the kings made it clear that while their commercial skills were welcome, their religion was not to be proselytized among the Mossi commoners. In some cases, the kings even co-opted Islamic symbols or practices, but they did so on their own terms, integrating them into their existing belief system without surrendering their core spiritual authority. So, for centuries, a delicate equilibrium existed. In the north and in specific trading enclaves, Islam flourished, creating a diverse cultural mosaic. But at the core, in the powerful Mossi heartland, traditional beliefs held firm. The Mossi people continued to honor the earth spirits, consult with diviners, and pay homage to their royal ancestors. Their resistance wasn't just about military might. It was a profound act of cultural self-preservation. They successfully navigated the pressures of a changing world, adopting what was useful to them, like the economic benefits of trade, while rejecting what threatened their identity. It's a powerful testament to the strength and adaptability of their culture. By the late 1800s, as the colonial era loomed, the situation remained largely the same. Islam had secured a permanent foothold in the region, particularly among trading communities and in the northern areas, but the majority of the Mossi people remained faithful to their ancestral traditions. This long history of interaction, a mix of conflict, coexistence, and careful negotiation, created the unique spiritual and cultural landscape that defines Burkina Faso today. It's a nation where mosques and traditional shrines can exist side by side, a living legacy of this fascinating period where a global religion met an unyielding local tradition. The story of Islam's arrival in this part of West Africa is not a simple tale of conversion or conquest, but a much more complex and interesting story of adaptation and resilience. What do you find most fascinating about this story? Is it the resilience of the Mossi, the pragmatic approach of their kings, or the way trade can be a vehicle for both goods and ideas? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you think. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this journey into the past, please give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next adventure. See you next time.